This is CNA News on Air. In May, Singapore joined the list of countries seeking to protect citizens from harmful online content by introducing legislation to combat the spread of false information. Some public will say this is a law that the government tried to muzzle the freedom of speech. Is this law a blow to fake news or struggle against freedom of speech? We should understand what needs to be done under the conditions of freedom of speech.
Freedom of speech is about being able to publish what you see as the truth without influence by some form of authority telling you what you can or cannot say. Usually there are certain standards of journalism that apply. Things like how many sources you should have before you're publishing something, how many things, what kind of verifications. And as long as you follow those, you should be, a free press should be free to publish whatever it is that they conclude, without a government or without any other special interest interfering. Because, I think the highest calling and the highest authority that good journalism answers to has to be the truth. You can't. It's only genuine freedom if you're allowed to publish the truth. If you're not allowed to publish the truth, if the truth is in any way hidden, if the truth is in any way downplayed, then that is no longer real press freedom. So I think the first duty of a journalist and the first duty of a news organization is to print and publish and report the truth. And there should be nothing that hinders them from doing that.
Freedom of speech is important for everyone, especially in journalism. Journalists play a role to publish truth in media. Where the line should the journalist and the government draw that can balance the relationship in freedom of speech and anti-fake news law?
So let's say, for example, and this is true even in a place like the United States, which arguably has the freest media environment in the world. Even journalists have been asked by the government to delay a story or not do a story in the interest of the public interest, what the government says is the public interest, right? If it's something that would make somebody look bad or may affect him in the polls or may affect public opinion of him. But again, if it's true and the public has a right to know the truth, then that should prevail. That should be more important.
There are many factors can influence the freedom of speech, especially fake news. Recently, Singapore has approached fake news law that seems a struggle of freedom of speech. However, the media environment will become more and more liberal in future.
So, where's the truth then? Who decides what's real or what's not, right? So that's the first thing, is like, what's real? Who decides? And if the government says, well, we decide, then the obvious thing is like, well, why do you get to decide? Why are you saying that you have an authority, you have the last word on what is quote unquote true? And the second thing is, what's the intention? Like, what was the intention of the law in the first place? And I think, personally, the more free option is inevitable because of the internet, right? This is just going to happen anyway. And I think the government is smart enough to realize that if they try to control more and they try to say, only MediaCorp and SPH are the ones that have the right to talk about these things.
Singapore's new legislation is one of the ways that affecting freedom of speech in Singapore. This is Shu Jing signing off.